Introduction to Archicad 20 User Interface UI. So this is Archicad 20, and so just to make sure that we're all using the same Archicad version or edition, I'm just going to ensure that I'm using the most current work environment and the stock one. So I am just going to do this real quick. We'll talk about this more later and kind of talk about what this interface allows you to do. So we'll just use the standard profile, and I'm going to just apply this. So this is what Archicad 20 looks like when you first open it. And this is basically how it looks. So it can look somewhat daunting to start off with because it is a very complex software, but it also has a lot of different capabilities, but they're all kind of represented, for better or worse, right away when you open the software. And so let's just go through some of this stuff, and I'm going to show you what I get rid of off of this user interface to be able to kind of work more effectively, especially since a lot of my work that's done with Archicad is done with a relatively small screen, and even I don't really run two screens on this. But anyways, let's get more into this. Okay, so we're going to start with the tool kind of bar, and this is where all your this is basically your toolbox, and these are all the different functions that you can kind of do. So to start off with, these are different elements. They are parametric. So I just grabbed the slab, and when you hover over them, it'll give you kind of information about what it is, and allow you to kind of understand what those different things are. So so when you want to kind of get more information about what the element is prior to placing it, you double click on it, and this gives you to this settings page. But the one thing you did see is that there is this new little kind of arrow that points over to the right, and this allows you to open up a favorites palette. And these are predefined elements that you can adjust as you need to based on your requirements for the type of building that you're going to be building. And these favorites are saved in there, but they're accessible through this little arrow. But to just begin to understand what the toolbars are, or the toolboxes and the tools are themselves, we're just going to look at some of these elements by double clicking on them. And in here you have another interface that goes and talks about the properties of the wall. So you have where the wall is going to be anchored, both on the bottom and the top. And this was a feature that they added a few versions ago, and it's a really pretty awesome feature. So you just can link your wall to the floor levels, but you can also have it not linked. So this has to deal with height. This has to deal with the origin of where the wall is and relative to various different datums that you might set. So if you have a wall that starts at 300 feet above sea level, because that's where the survey is kept, you might have a reference that says 300 feet in another location, and then this would be in reference to that height. So you can be above or below, and you can change what your reference elevation is. These are the type of wall that you can have. And so we're going to go into more detail with all these tools, but I just want to kind of show you that each of these tools or each of these objects have a lot of different options within them. And then to access this panel, and these are the materials, and these vary for different elements or different pieces in the toolbox, but for the most part, everything has a similar area where you can input and adjust the elements. And these are the layers that it exists on. So this is the toolbox. And we'll go into more depth of each of these tools later. These across here are your different views. So we have floor plan, which is on a layout sheet. You have a three-dimensional view, which is on a saved 3D view, and then you have a floor plan view. And you can close these, and these are also accessible over here. With that said, join me in the next lesson, and we'll talk about the navigator, where all of our drawings and information, saved views, and the raw views are kept and organized. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.